C.R. Allen, author of Club Lithium, and you're on the All Over the Place podcast, where the fun sanity never ends.
Hello, and a very 80s centric welcome to All Over the Place, the official podcast of Media Pub Live. I'm your host, Eric Pervoznik, and the whole gang is back tonight, starting with Jim.
Hey, McFly.
Hello. Christine.
Hello.
And back, erase the name from off the tombstone, Marty Zamora back in the house.
Hey.
Welcome, my friend. All right, I mentioned we're going to jump right in on this one. This is 80 centric. Marty's got the Maiden on. I got the Def Leppard on. Jim's keeping 70s style, and but Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, both 80s movies.
Early 80s.
That's not tonight. And Christine's got some wacky music festival that doesn't fit the criteria, but damn it, you know what? We're having fun tonight. And yes, there is whiskey in this Polar Pop. Please sponsor us, Circle K.
Classy.
Strange things afoot.
No trouble afoot tonight. That is correct.
That's right. Circle K.
So tonight we are doing top 3 80s teen movies that do not have John Hughes's direct fingerprints on them. John Hughes, of course, being such an architect of a lot of great 80s movies. So we are going to include him tonight, but not in our threefer. John Hughes is the +1, where we do name our favorite, just one, John Hughes teen movie. So we're going to get it rocking right away, and we're going to start catty corner for me with Mr. Jim.
Okay, are we going 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, or do you care?
Well, I think the bronze, whatever, however you want to do it. This is all over the place. We make stuff up as we go.
All right. So I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. My number 3 is a movie that is not directly John Hughes related, but it was definitely influenced by his work and was directed by a gentleman who basically ended up being Hughes's protege later, and that is Adventures in Babysitting.
Like it.
Which feels like a John Hughes movie through and through. It's a movie about teenagers set in Chicago, and it definitely has that John Hughes vibe all the way through. But amazingly, he had nothing to do with it, aside from some probably influencing it a little bit. And it was made by Chris Columbus, who ended up kind of becoming John Hughes's partner later. They directed a lot of each other's scripts and influenced each other a lot. But it's one of my all-time favorites. Absolutely love it, and just such a fun movie all the way through. Got to give a shout out to Vincent D'Onofrio playing the first on-screen Thor, long before Chris Hemsworth
the best on-screen Thor until Hemsworth. Absolutely.
Yep, and just a kick movie all the way through. Love it, and it definitely had that John Hughes feel, even if he wasn't involved in it.
Love it. Nice.
Love it. That's great.
All right. Well, keeping this Chicago frame of mind, we're going to go directly up from Jim and go to Christine.
Okay. Well, being from Chicago, I love that your first pick was a Chicago movie, as so many of the 80s movies, especially given John Hughes being a Chicago guy. I'm actually starting out on the West Coast this evening for my 80s teen movie. And it's actually one of the first teen movies that I saw or was allowed to see because I was coming up in the early 80s, Valley Girl with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Kick butt soundtrack, as many of the 80s movies did have amazing soundtracks, but it was one of those that first introduced me to some great bands that I ended up really loving. And of course, Nick Cage was in it, and great performances, and gag me with a spoon and all that stuff. Mm-hmm.
Totally.
And Marty, you being a California guy, what was the Valley Girl influence on you? Because you were a punk rock guy, you're a metal guy. Did the Valley Girl?
What year was that?
You down there in your part of LA?
What year was that, Jim?
83, I believe. 82 or 83.
83 is correct.
Yeah. So by 83, I was in full swing, Van Halen, doing my thing, and yes, I do remember it. Every girl in the school had to see it, and everybody saw it because what the girl wants, the girl gets.
That's right.
But, yeah, great movie. Of course,
We
it
know
seems like
what girls
a
like.
movie.
We'll do what girls want.
Something like
That's
that.
right.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Good choice,
All right,
Christine.
and Marty, we're going to shift over to you for your bronze number 3, however you want to go.
Well,
Entry
I
tonight.
didn't, as usual, I did not follow the formula. I'm contrary all the time.
I have confidence that you can wing it though with this category.
Well, this is both of those are John Hughes like. My number 3, which I'm surprised it's number 3, but I guess you'll understand when you hear the other ones. But my number 3 is not a teen movie, but it's a teen movie. The Outsiders.
Oh,
Got to be a teen movie.
Very
because
much
they
a
were
teen
all
movie, not
teens.
specifically not a teen comedy, but you
Not-
can't. No, Outsiders, no beef
Not
from
your,
me.
not your
Ah.
classic yucks you get out of a let's go to the mall type teen movie, but definitely a teen movie.
Yes.
And there wasn't really very many people that went along to play. They didn't really make it. One or two of them had some small roles.
Yeah,
But
here and
those
there.
guys, they did good in their only, theatrical movie. Bunch of unknown actors never made
Well, I
it.
think out of those, Matt Dillon was probably one of the biggest names, or Leif Garrett were like, and Diane Lane. They were probably the 3 biggest names in that when it was filmed, right?
Oh, even Diane Lane hadn't really broken out by that stage yet. I mean, she'd done Six Pack, and but no, the Outsiders. Yeah, I think Dylan. Yeah, Dylan would have been the biggest one, and gosh, yeah, I'm hard pressed to think anybody else would have had more prior screen time than he did.
But it sure
Yeah,
did launch
but
a lot of years.
the post screen time of all those people, outstanding.
Yeah, maybe Cruz had done. Well, help me out on this one. Trivia with Jim. Had Cruz done Taps by that point? Because they're all kind of.
I think
in
it was
same,
after
that same
that.
range.
Yeah, I think Taps
Yeah, I
was
believe-
after that.
Taps
Yeah, I
was
think
after.
Taps was 81, and I want to say Outsiders were 80, if I remember right.
No. Outsiders was 82, 83. I want to say
82?
83. Yeah, because then I think Tom Cruise's next one after that it was either Cruisin'. I'm not sure which came first, Cruisin'
Taps
or
was 81. Yeah,
what's that?
Taps was 81.
Taps was 81,
Yeah.
and then
Does anybody remember Losing It?
I was gonna not Cruisin',
remember
losing
Losing
it, but yeah, losing it. Yeah,
That was that
Losing It.
before that?
Yeah, Top Gun was a Losing It reunion. Like 3 of the
Okay,
actors
well, he
yeah.
showed up in Top Gun later.
He was really young in that. So was that even before The Outsiders?
Yeah, I think Losing It might have been his first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Risky Business, 83, 84. Yeah. And if you
course.
has anyone seen the director's cut of The Outsiders yet?
Nope.
Maybe.
Which
Maybe.
Coppola, a lot of times director's cuts will fall flat on their faces. They're just vanity projects, but Coppola did an amazing job with it. He went in and refigured the chronology of it, and it plays exactly like the book now.
Oh,
With and you get the added bonus of 2 separate audio tracks. You get like a video track as well, with special appearances from Matt Dillon and Rob Lowe separately. They didn't join the cast, some of the cast members in the studio. Yeah, Coppola doing one, and then a separate one, video with the Swayze, Diane Lane, C. Thomas Howell, and Macho all sitting there. You watch them watching the movie together and commenting on it.
oh, that's very cool.
Highly
Nice.
right. Outsiders, the complete novel. Awesome stuff.
Yep.
And yes,
Yep.
Christine, I have it on Blu-ray.
Thank you. I was worried.
Yes,
I just can't believe
Not
this
Laserdisc?
movie got by me, Marty. Like, that is one of my favorites. And I always tell my
I love
boys that they're Daryl Soda Pop and Pony Boy.
Yeah, I
love
can
that
start
movie.
calling
If
them
you
that
know
now.
them, they are pretty much them.
Yeah. So and
Oh, this household just got a whole lot more fun.
and I think that was 82, Jim. Or 83.
Outsiders?
That sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah, I believe so.
It came out when I was in middle school, and we were reading it at the same time. So that sounds about right. Yeah.
So 83 would have been right.
It's somewhere
Yes,
around
I was a
there.
sophomore
I
in
know
high
I
school,
saw it in
so
the theater, so
you can
it had to have
imagine.
been around there.
Being a sophomore in high school, that was exactly in our wheelhouse.
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
And then my friend's dad bought a VCR. Wow. I'm going to date myself. You bought a VCR, the ones with it pops up. You put the tape in.
the top load deck. Yeah.
Yeah, and also it had the wired remote. It was about $1,200 in 1983, and there was 3 movies, and one of them was The Outsiders. Anyway,
What were the other 2? Don't leave us hanging.
Cool,
What were the other 2?
Go watch it. One of them was that it was a movie made for like 30-something people. Remember the show 30-something? It's like the movie that kind of inspired that. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Would that be
Big Chill?
the Big Chill?
Big Chill. There you go. We used to call it the Big Chilote, which means just Google it.
Yes.
So, Josh,
yeah,
in other words, you don't want to use around the friends. So.
Yes.
Endlessly. We had to do just the tracking though, like just get it dialed in. Good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, tracking. Good times.
Okay, Eric, what's your number?
All right,
3?
well, up to me, and again, just so many in this awesome decade. I'm going to kick things off with Heather's. A little darker,
A little darker, a little good.
not soundtracky. Although there's, strangely enough, it's a great score by Thomas Newman, Randy Newman's. I think Jim, are they brothers, cousins? I think Thomas and Randy are brothers, right?
That I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, the Newman family, all
Newman.
the awesome scores, but Thomas Newman did the soundtrack. But Teenage Suicide, Don't Do It, not included on the soundtrack. It's just a score. Anyhow, but it was the breakout party for Christian Slater and Winona Ryder, and just demented. It was just the right movie in the late. I just started college, and we watched that movie ad nauseum. That was Friday, Saturday night, drinking and watching Heather's. So yeah, it's good. A great script by Daniel Waters wrote it. Michael Lehman directed it. Just a fun little under the radar movie that lasted a week in theaters. I saw it there, and then
For real?
too many times on video. Yeah.
Wow.
Short runs. It was in Toledo, Ohio. Come on, we didn't exactly have the art house and the indies cooking there in T-Town.
Not to condone drugs or anything, but I actually was high when I saw that movie.
Oh, I love drugs.
I had just gotten my wisdom teeth out, so I was on, and I didn't know yet that I was allergic to codeine. So I actually was on painkillers when I saw
a legal high. Wow, look at that.
Party.
So I was on painkillers when I saw that at home, and I was like half in, half out during the movie. And my dad was watching me and took it upon him to have a really interesting conversation with me while we were watching this messed up, dark teen movie.
And a little trivia with Eric here, a little offshoot from the trivia with Jim. Lizette, Heather number 2, Lizette, I can't remember her last name, but she was the girl on the cover of Foreigner's Head Games. I bring that up so I can include the song Head Games when we do the playlist.
There you go.
Mm.
There's
That
always
Thinking ahead.
madness, huh?
Way to wedge it in.
Once a DJ, always a DJ.
There you go.
All right, Jim, we go back to you for your second entry.
Yeah, number 2.
Number 2. Okay. My second is going to be Teen Wolf, which is one of my childhood favorites. Such a fun movie. Movie that introduced me to Michael J. Fox, I think, before I even saw Back to the Future. Such a fun movie. Just, and it's a movie that has a clever idea, using being a werewolf as a metaphor for your teen years, and just absolutely plays it to the hilt, and has a lot of fun with it. I feel like if they tried to make this movie today, they would not get it right. They even tried to make a TV show, and from what I heard, it was just dark and not fun at all, because that's apparently how everything has to be
MTV. Now. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And just a real kick of a movie. I don't know whose crazy idea it was to put a teen sports movie and werewolves together, but it was hilariously brilliant.
Worked.
It was the 80s.
Yeah.
Probably a great
little
supporting cast in that one, including Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yep.
And a guy, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but wasn't Jerry Devine? Oh, never mind. I'm getting confused. Maybe he was in Adventures in Babysitting. I'm thinking of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
No, it's Keith
Keith
Coogan. He was in those.
Coogan. Okay, Keith Coogan, not Jerry Devine. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Devine was kind of the go-to best friend back in the '80s, but
Energetic best friend.
right, yeah.
Yep.
So, but yeah, just a really, really fun movie all the way around, and just kind of celebrated, in its own way, teens just having fun and partying and having a good time, and letting boys grow up into men their own way, and just one of those formative movies I grew up on. It was a really fun movie.
I did not see Teen Wolf coming up tonight, and I could not be happier. Great call, Jim. Love it.
Love it.
All right, Christine, to you.
Okay, so my number 2 pick actually took place here in Arizona, Tucson to be exact. And it stars one of the first looks that I had of Patrick Dempsey. People may know him as Mr. Dr. Steamy from Grey's Anatomy, but he actually was a 80s actor for all you youngins in teen movies. And he actually had quite a few really good in that same kind of thematic line. Don't ask me what they were called, but he had several movies in the early to mid 80s. But Can't Buy Me Love is this one, and kind of Hughes-esque again, but and some good soundtrack songs on it. And yeah, it's one of my
And
faves.
what wasn't Heather number 1?
I believe Heather number 1 was in that movie as well. I believe she was the main love interest, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, I'm blanking on her name now, but
I
yeah.
don't remember her name. I'd have to look it up.
I think we covered it. It was Heather number 1.
Heather number 1. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I think very few actors have grown into their looks the way Patrick Dempsey did.
Well,
Starting out as this skinny, nerdy guy
yes.
and growing into McDreamy. Just holy crap, dude.
I'd totally bang him.
Or yeah, he was Dreamy. Sorry, McDreamy.
McDreamy,
I
yeah.
confused with the other guy.
Eric, whatever his name was, McSteamy, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to correct you and say that, but then I realized
I only watched like the
admit
first
knowing
couple
that.
seasons of Grey's.
Yes,
and
right.
I got-
Never
Don't
admit
worry.
to watching that show. No, never admit it.
I started watching it and then I fell off early.
I got paid to watch it, and that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it in my Disney days. So yeah. Well, before we diverge further, Marty, to you.
All right. Once again, nothing like a John Hughes movie. I mean, I guess you could point to some parts of it, and you probably will. But Karate Kid. I know. That's not a teen movie. Bunch of teens doing a bunch of teen crap.
It is. It's not
there was one old guy.
Grappling with their young adulthood. Absolutely.
I'll allow it.
The old guy from Okinawa. It was a bunch of teen guys doing teen stuff with teen girls. Elizabeth Shue.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, that was Lenny and Squiggy from Laverne.
I got it. Yeah, I knew what you were doing.
Remember
Up
that?
your nose with a rubber hose.
Yeah.
That was the Sweat Hogs.
listening.
That was the Sweat Hogs. That was Vinnie Barbarino of the Sweat Hogs.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so Karate Kid, it was amazing. I loved it then. I still love it now. The show is really good. The movie's always going to have a special place, and number 1, I mean, that the second one was good. The third one was fine. They were fine. Nothing great, nothing bad. They were fine. But number 1, really, really, really deeply set in my, sort of top teen movies or, stuff I liked when I was a kid. I really, really liked that. It was just a lot of fun. And I was already to the point where I was like, karate's bullshit. But the movie was fantastic. Loved it. And again, Elizabeth Shue did not hurt. At the time, it was fine for me to go, wow, she's hot.
And she's aging like fine wine, by the way.
Yeah,
for
she
anybody that's all around
remained
the
hot
boys.
till, I don't know, till her death. Is she dead? Maybe not.
No.
Yeah,
She's in-
leaving Las
Well, the
Vegas.
show The Boys is dead to me, but I think she's still alive.
Yeah, she was fantastic in Leaving Las Vegas. So,
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
and also still hot. So
And
yeah,
soap dish.
it was just really good. Machio is obviously, that was, you know, when we discovered he was outstanding actor, young actor, and
Oh, but we already knew that from your first one.
this is true. This
Yeah,
is true. But he
I
was
can't wait to find out if your number one has Machio in it as well.
yeah. I honestly didn't notice it until just now, until it was pointed out to me.
I'm
But
hearing a theme.
the main difference is you know, the Outsiders had 47 guys in it, so they all
Sure.
went on to be stars.
Well, I think the only thing that could have improved the Karate Kid is if that friend of Daniel's friend would have gotten his line right the first time instead of having
Oh,
having
yeah.
overdub.
Jeff Bryan.
That is a
Throwing
throwback
out our old
to
guests. I see
a
what we're doing.
previous podcast.
Yes. Good throwback
We
there.
love you, Jeffrey Bryan,
called
and you had fun with it. We're going to continue to have fun with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, Fast Times, really good. Really good protagonist. Johnny was awesome. He was I liked him better than Daniel San, but you know,
I think a lot of people did.
yeah, I thought he was way cooler, and he was a douchebag, which I had recently discovered was how you got girls. I didn't know that at the time, but I kind of learned it kind of in that time where you're like, oh, you only be half nice. It works. So he was my introduction to douchebagness. He was a total douche, but I dug him. He was cool, and he had his little squad, and they were all douchey. You know, good movie.
And that was the beginning of Zab, the Zab becoming the go-to dickhead. Oh, and very, very quick
Well,
sidebar.
I mean, James Spader. Come on.
Well, no, I'm good. That's where I was going. Quick, lightning round. Who played the better high school dickhead, Billy Zabka, or John, or Spader?
Mm.
I think
Christine,
Spader.
go. You're going Spader.
I go
Jim,
Spader.
Zabka, hands down.
Marty.
Yeah, I agree with Jim.
I'm going with the Zabs too, if only because
Hmm.
Spader. Oh no, hey, Spader. Well, let's go this way. Zabka, King Douche, and Karate Kid, and then another movie I believe was filmed out here in Arizona. Just one of the guys, or was he actually a good boyfriend in that one? Anyway, well, let's just keep that as maybe a half douchey guy. But then going to Back to School.
Mhm.
And help me out, Jim. What's he had a nice troika of being douchey, King
These are
Douche.
the only ones I remember.
Okay.
Hey, let's not forget the Pretty in Pink douche.
Well, that's what I mean, James Spader.
Well, yeah, that was
Spader. Yeah.
Spader.
I thought you were referring to him from the other douchey. Never mind.
Well, Spader was just douchey in Less Than Zero, and
Yep.
and that, but two very strong dickheads.
Mhm.
Two very strong.
This is a great show. We're really good at this.
We have our
He's
moments.
really
You know, the
strong
guy,
dickhead,
the
yeah.
guy from the thing, the other thing.
Here's a bloop. Wait, we'll bleep some of this
Yeah.
out. Now they have fun with that bleep button.
Yeah.
I will
Alright,
say
well-
the 80s are the last age of great douchebaggery on film, because after that, Hollywood decided that the bullies and the jerks had to be more complex and more have more gray area, and the actors couldn't just let loose and just be like complete scumbags.
Yeah, and
So
also
that's why I think it's people look back and remember those performances, because they were just the ultimate quintessential douchey bullies.
yes, and they always nowadays they seem to always have some backstory that explains why they're so douchey. I don't care
Right.
that your mom hugged you too much or not enough. I don't know. Who cares? Just let him be
Suck
a dude.
it up. Rub dirt on it. To my number two, this is gonna. I think Marty made a little slip there, and he said something.
I think he did too. I caught that as well.
Yeah. My number two, also incredibly
gonna let it go.
soundtrack heavy. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Did I
did
double
it
you up,
yourself,
Marty?
Marty. You did it to yourself.
I won't get that into it. I'll let Marty have fun with his as his number one. I will just say that.
No, just
I
run
can't
with
think
it,
of
and
any-
that'll just be my number one.
Yeah. Well,
Go.
to me, I can't think of any movie outside of Soap Dish that had as many Oscar nominations. Well, actually, at the time they're all young, all future Oscar nominees in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Nicolas Cage, well, the Oscar winners or nominees, Jennifer
Douche
Jason
Penn.
Leigh. What's that?
Douche Penn.
Sean Sean Penn, of course, multiple Oscar winner, and Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker. There,
Thank you,
it came
Forrest
back to me.
Whitaker. Yes.
Forrest
Forrest
Whitaker.
Whitaker. So, and Mr. Hond, Vincent Schiavelli, just an amazing cast, and of course Hamilton, Judge Reinhold.
Way to go, Hamilton.
Yes.
And Phoebe Cates, you know,
And
the
Phoebe Cates,
woman that
amazingly quotable.
I saw
Richard
this-
Romanus playing. I almost wore my Cheap Trick shirt
R.I.P.
tonight, hoping that Damone could score me some tickets. But
Mhm.
no go on that one. It's a Def Leppard kind of night for the 80s. So I'll let Marty talk more about Fast Times a little bit later. That's my second one. Jim, over to you for your third entry or your gold or your number one.
Oh, did we pass Christine?
I'm after you, dear.
Okay, fair enough. All right. My number
I've
one.
gotten better at this. I don't miss people anymore.
Okay, fair enough. My number one, I actually didn't see this movie until I was in college, so I discovered it late. But a friend turned me on to it. But after I saw it, I fell in love with it and am completely obsessed with it and have been ever since. It's one of my all-time favorite teen movies, and it's called Better Off Dead.
Damn it.
Oh,
I knew it. I knew I was going to steal somebody's with that one. I knew it.
Darn you, Jim.
We can all talk about it. It's okay.
Yes, we can all talk about it.
Yeah, I love that movie. It has technically all of the ingredients for a normal teen movie. It's got the teen romance. It's got the teen angst and the school experience and the prom and all of it, and the big face off with the bully at the end. But it's the tone of it is just so weird and surreal and funny that it's really not like any other teen movie I've ever seen. And it's hilarious and endlessly watchable, and and easily one of John Cusack's best performances, even though he spends almost the entire movie moping around and trying to unalive himself. And but it's done in such a hilarious way that it's one of my all-time favorites now. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic.
That is one of my favorites also. Absolutely. I saw that when I was a freshman, like the summer between freshman and sophomore year, I think is when I saw it. And just instantly was just like, that movie is so quirky and hilarious and love it. Such a great movie. And
another movie that lasted, this one actually lasted a week longer than Heather's. I was able to see it in the theater, lasted 2 weeks at the Franklin Park Cinema in Toledo. Yeah.
Yeah. But I, years ago, was like trying to indoctrinate my boys into some of my favorite movies that, from when I was younger, and had them watch that movie, had totally forgotten that the whole movie he's trying to unalive himself, and was like, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Like, no, that's bad. Like, the whole time was just like, wait, no, what? This is a bad parenting movie. The movie's hilarious. I was like, oh, wow. Why did I do this? But yeah, I absolutely love that movie. Some great music in that as well from Howard Jones, and just can't even think of it. But and it's the most quotable. I think that's the movie. I'm kind of going into my topic. I think I quote that movie more than probably any other movie from back. I want my $2.
And
$2.
When are we going to be allowed to get away with the line, "It's a damn shame throwing away a perfectly good white boy like that."
I know.
You can get away with that now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's okay to make fun of white people. It's fine.
Yeah. But, well, Christine, I know you want. There's one that because I've got two that it was a toss up. If you want to take the one that you had said on your list and make it your number one, and just have Better Off Dead be your continuation off of what Jim was saying, I'm willing to cede my one that took place that involved wet clothes being microwaved to get dry.
I don't remember what we were talking about because all I can think of your number one that I don't want to steal from you.
1, 2, 3.
I get that.
Take it. I'm giving.
No, you're so much better at talking about the
Take
movies
it.
than I
Take
am.
it away.
But,
I
oh
can
my
springboard whatever you don't want to take. See, all over the place.
Okay, we'll just all blend together our
That's
number
right.
ones. I freaking love 3 O'clock High. From the first time I saw that movie, Casey Simasco. Don't even ask me who else is in it, but it just, oh my gosh, such a great. It's a bully movie, which is sad, but I mean, it's just hilarious. It is such a good movie. Quirky as all get out. I'm clearly I love quirky movies, but take it away, my love, Eric, and talk about what you were going to say about it.
It's just Phil Joanno's first directorial debut. It's combined a little bit of that Hughes. It's a dark Hughes movie, but it's also very Spielbergian with just the different technique, the visual shots in that one. Excellent cinematography in that.
You need to watch that again because I haven't seen it in so long.
The tension built and cutting to the clock as it gets closer to 3 o'clock. And Buddy Revell is one of the most underappreciated movie villains, especially in a teen comedy. It's just an amazing cast all around, and good stuff.
Yeah,
3 o'clock
for sure. And one thing about that villain, he wasn't douchey, really. I mean,
he just wanted space.
He was a tough guy.
I'll tell you one thing. He was an actual scary villain. Like I remember just going, that guy looks scary. That dude.
He was just a big guy. Yeah.
Perfect. Like he had a scary puss and all that. And I just remember me and all my friends were like, damn.
Yeah, Richard Tyson has got to be one of the best tough guys of the 80s and 90s. That Kindergarten Cop and a bunch of other movies, and the fact that they actually made fun of that whole image in There's Something About Mary in his scene is pretty funny. But and speaking of Casey Simasco, so he went from being the bully nerd in that movie to playing one of the most famous bullies of all time in Of Mice and Men. I mean, talk about range for a guy like him to pull that switch off is pretty amazing.
And one of Biff's cohorts in Back to the Future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He promised he'd never get picked on again after that movie. So he was always going to be the bully after that.
If you want to go back to the Future 3 time, maybe he was a cousin, and that's where he was a pugilist. That's where he learned his moves.
That's right.
And Young Guns. So, and
which is not a teen comedy.
And in the end, Jerry was not the puss that bled. He bled, but he wasn't a puss. Marty, to you.
All right. I have a big surprise. Everybody brace yourselves. I don't even know if you'll recognize this movie or even remember it. The people that were in it didn't go on to do much again, but it's a little tiny itsy bitsy movie that Eric stole from me called Fast Times. You hear that?
That's his skull.
That's my skull. I'm totally wasted. Anyway,
well, Marty, if you're here and I'm here, doesn't that make it our time?
You're perfectly right, Spicoli.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Provozzi, but this is Marty's choice.
Isn't that movie where Vans came from?
They were popularized because of that. So yeah.
Well, I was wearing them in junior high, but I'm a SoCal guy, and it kind of started here. So I was wearing them in junior high. Everybody, the white slip-ons were the cool kid shoes.
So cool. Yeah.
Man, that was just, right in my wheelhouse, right at the right time. Them falling out of the VW bus with all the smoke. That was exactly me and my friends. Just a bunch of dumb shits doing dumb shit things. And, it really felt, for me, it felt like a movie about me and my friends. It really did. It just really hit home. And I love that movie. I absolutely love it. And I was a Jennifer Lee fan. That was who I was digging. I mean, Phoebe Cates was obviously smoking hot, but I had a thing for Jennifer Jason
Nice
Leigh.
girl.
Yeah. Things for freshmen. It's okay. Yeah, things for
AKA
freshmen.
Domergue. She was great in that too.
All right. Well, Mark. See, two of us can. We can all have multiple things here. We all love them for different reasons. As we go to my number one, I just quickly want to get a couple of honorable mentions in, and one of them would be, and actually, I want after I talk about these next two, I want to throw it out there to who was the best representative of 80s teen comedies, but Class with Rob Lowe, Jacqueline Bisset, and Andrew McCarthy. Thank you.
Andrew McCarthy.
My least liked Smirk, but Andrew McCarthy was great in Class. A perfect role for him, and that's an honorable mention. To my number one, it's another John Cusack movie, and that would be Say Anything.
Hell yeah!
Great soundtrack. Debut movie from Cameron Crowe, and Cameron Crowe actually who wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and Say Anything. What it was his directorial debut, and John Cusack. I mean, everybody. Lloyd Dobler just personified every guy who he deserved the girl, but it was just hard to get the girl, and then the rejection, and just great script from Cameron Crowe. Great supporting cast. It's Lloyd, all null and void. Trying to avoid Lloyd, and endlessly quotable as well, and just love that. That would be my number one. Say Anything.
Yeah, excellent. Love it.
And Ione Skye and John Mahoney as well. Just those three, just great, perfectly cast.
Cusack did a little of that pining in High Fidelity too.
Yep,
and it worked.
He did.
He plays the hang dog. Desperate lover, just out of reach of perfection. But now I throw John Cusack out there as the ultimate 80s teen comedy guy. He probably doesn't like to hear that, especially since he didn't like doing things in Better Off Dead. He kind of shines off on that one. But the guy did a lot of excellent stuff. And I will,
yeah, he did.
Although it is technically a college movie, The Sure Thing starts off in high school where Walter Gibson is honing his skills, his shtick. But great, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. I that's one of my top three Rob Reiners. Just a great update of It Happened One Night.
Oh, yeah,
but,
that guy.
Now absolutely, but in the 80s, the guy was untouchable as a writer and director.
Hey, so was Sean Penn.
Was he? And
De
they
Niro.
all they do the opposite of being in your 20s than being in your 40s. But anybody? Who are some other nominations for ultimate 80s actor or actress?
I second
Christine.
John Cusack.
You're seconding John Cusack?
It's one of my favorites. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
not teen ones, but I mean,
Agreed.
big actors were Meg Ryan, and so she was huge back then, but not teen, right? So,
Well, Molly Ringwald. I mean,
Yeah.
I know we're heading into John Hughes territory with that one, but John Cusack had
well,
some,
Cusack did a lot of Hughes movies.
just the one.
Just the
He
one.
was in more than one, wasn't he?
Mm-mm. Well, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
But
Not much later.
Marty, any other? Well, Ralph Macchio, I guess, would be yours, considering 2 out of your 3.
This is true, but Tom Cruise. He had a few bangers there.
That's
John Cusack really. Yeah, I think I agree.
Unanimous. Wow. And John Cusack probably hates each and every one of us on a personal level. I don't care.
Undoubtedly.
Awesome actor. I love watching. To this day, I still love watching his stuff.
He doesn't hate me. I'm a fellow former Chicagoan, so
Oh, okay. You might get a pass, but anyhow, this isn't about hate. This is about love. And we love you, John Cusack. We love your 80s oeuvre.
Yeah.
And 90s too, and early 2000s. All right, but now we're going to flip the script around. We are finally going to involve the man who made 80s teen movies, what they were. And that would be Mr. John Hughes, Chicago guy. And Jim, we start with you for your favorite John Hughes teen movie.
Okay, I gotta go with this one. It's absolutely iconic. I grew up watching it about 100 times, and Breakfast Club. Absolutely love it. Amazing movie. I really don't think there's been, honestly, a better teen movie ever made. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I think it's absolutely an amazing movie, and it's just set in one setting. It's just 5 kids getting together and taking advantage of their detention to share their souls with each other. And it's absolutely a beautiful movie. I love it. I think it's just so funny and soulful and powerful. And I think it's a great movie. I think it really transcends its genre and just becomes a great drama in general. Comedy drama.
Yeah. And I mean, no matter who you were in high school, you could relate in some way to one or more of the kids or one or more of their problems. By the way, I'm talking because it's also mine. It's mine too.
Fair enough.
It's one of my favorite movies, period. But
well, we transitioned seamlessly from Jim to Christine the last time. Marty, we're going to skip over to you and then go up to Christine for hers.
No, I'm just piggybacking because I agree with the guy. Oh, that's just a brilliant movie. I mean, everyone was kind of one of those people, some version of one of those people, and I think that's why it grabbed so many people. Not to mention that it was done really well, but just there's a lot of videos that sort of spoof it and make fun, and that's great. It's great. There's points out a lot of things, but man, just fantastic. Love that movie. Good soundtrack, just good stuff. Everything you could want in a movie like that.
Yeah.
Zero.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Almost no violence.
Yep.
No sexual overtones. No nudity. No, it didn't need any of the extra shit that you need in a movie because it had everything it needed. So good.
And going back to our discussion about how well characters played douchey in the 80s, like, has there ever been a better douche than Paul Gleason?
Oh my god!
I mean, he's a great adult one. Yeah.
In that, yeah. Like, you don't even need a kid bully in that movie because you have Mr. Vernon. Don't mess with the bully, man. You get the horns. I mean, between that and Die Hard and at least a couple other movies he did, the guy just
Happy Gilmore.
Played this, just a guy you want to smack so freaking well.
Yes. God, he was so good.
Yeah.
Even like the scene with the janitor and stuff. It was just all really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Trading Places, of course.
Yeah.
Great bad guy in that. Yeah. That was absolutely his forte. He nailed it so well.
And I like that Hughes is able to start the movie off, and this is how he understood, even though age gap, whatever, he understood 80s teens and just I think teens in general, kicking that off with the Bowie quote. These children that you spit upon.
Yeah. I think the key to his success was he just saw teenagers as people. And movies Hollywood almost never did back then. It was always they treated everybody like a cartoon, and he just looked at teenagers and said, "These are people. They're just younger than me, and I'll just treat them like people." And everybody can connect with that.
Yeah.
And he did such a great job of showcasing like suburban life, and a lot of them took place in Chicago, and of course, I loved that. We always loved trying to go out and, find the places where the filming was happening or had happened and all of that. And
I mean, what a great line. I think your old man and my old man ought to get together and go bowling.
Yep.
Great stuff. Great stuff. They both had asshole fathers, overbearing dickheads in a completely different way. Man, what a great movie.
Hey, producer, can we have trivia with Jim up, please? Where in Breakfast Club does John Hughes make an appearance?
He is one of the parents, and I'm trying to remember whose dad he is. I'm going to say Ali Sheedy's, or not Ali Sheedy, Claire's dad.
Anthony Michael Hall's dad.
Anthony Michael Hall's dad. Oh, that's right. He picks him up at the end. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember now.
With a great name, lead singer from AC/DC. AC/DC was used in another John Hughes film, but the name for Anthony Michael Hall's character in that, Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson. Yep.
All this
That's impossible. It's in Johnson's
Wow.
underwear.
It's in Johnson's underwear.
It just went another
I
layer.
freaking love that
Yes.
line.
You peel things away and you find things all over the place here.
Wait,
Levels
did I
upon
fuck that
layers
up?
of layers.
Was it in Johnson's shorts?
No, he said Johnson's underwear.
Is the underwear? Okay. By the way, since Jim and I shared
Barry
the
Manilow knowing
number
you
one,
still
Hey,
does.
It's important to get this
actually,
right.
You got any honorable mentions for either of you guys?
yeah, I got a couple. Well, one. Well, yeah, two. They're not teen movies, but they're John Hughes movies that I loved. My runner-up honorable mention is Uncle Buck. Just love it. Love it. Great. And Trains, Planes, and Automobiles is one of my favorite all-time movies. It makes me not breathe. It really,
100%.
really makes it hard to breathe. I just laugh and laugh like an idiot.
And as people all over the world are want to do, Christine and I watched that one on Thanksgiving. I didn't realize that movie was barely over 90 minutes. It
Really?
It
flows
flies by.
so perfectly.
Yeah.
Man.
Ironically, for a movie where the planes never fly, it flies by. My honorable mentions for the non-John Hughes teen comedies. My honorable mentions are Summer School, which is a really fun movie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, good pull.
Even though the kid in that movie really is the teacher, and License to Drive with Corey Haim. I absolutely love that one.
Nice.
And for John Hughes movies, he's got a lot of famous ones. My honorable mention is going to be what's that?
Oh yeah.
Go before you say your other John Hughes movies. It's a limited list.
I don't think any of you guys are going to pick this one, but so go ahead.
All right. Well, Christine,
Okay.
we'll come back to Jim on an honorable mention. We'll go to you for your number one, John Hughes.
Okay, so I know what Eric's picking, so I'm going with Ferris Bueller's Day Off for mine. Of course, like I was talking about that showcasing of Chicago, and it's like all over that movie. And I remember going with my friends downtown and like trying to reenact, you know. Of
Like a
course,
travelogue for the
we
city.
didn't meet the Danish Parade, but you know, it was just.
Did you
a
meet Abe
fun
Froman,
thing to do.
Sausage King of Chicago?
No, we did not get into St. Paul, but we did go by it. But but yeah, great movie, just a lot of fun, and of course, it's the subject matter is all teen, and he's a senior trying to ditch school and get his friends in it with him. Just one of those iconic scenes. Like, I'm sure you guys have seen the meme of Cameron's house, like in the woods in the car, and you're just like, I know exactly what that is.
Yep.
And our generation knows that image, like without a doubt. Don't have to think twice.
And while we're
They pull into the garage, and the car guy is like, no, sir, we're professionals. We'll take great care of it. And then they're like, woohoo!
But quickly back to while you're meme mentioning, I want to throw it out there, and I don't want to say this antagonistically. I'm just saying, lighten up a little, millennials and Gen Z. Whether it's Jim's pick with Jim and Marty with Breakfast Club, that movie is not Ali Sheedy's fever dream, and she's the only one in detention, and
Right.
neither is Ferris Bueller Cameron's fever dream, and that's why all the bad things happen. Nothing bad here, and it's a movie. Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't try to dissect it and make it meta. It's just a movie.
Yeah.
Leave wellness alone.
Unless.
Yeah.
Hey,
I
by
mean,
the way,
Or whatever gets you going, whatever makes you think you're smarter than the rest of us. I don't care.
Cameron is wearing a Detroit Red Wings jersey the whole time and not a Blackhawks jersey.
that was awesome. That was
Hey,
awesome.
Hey, let's not be dissing on Gordie Howe. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Howe's
I
a
know-
legend, but still.
I
Hey,
know
so-
you're a Blackhawks gal. I get it. I understand it's Chicago, but it's Gordie Howe.
Should be a
I,
Star jersey.
When you said honorable mentions, I did my John Hughes honorable mentions. I apologize for that.
That's all right.
But I did have two for the other one.
Yes.
Porky's, which I think was 80,
Yes. Yeah.
and Meatballs.
81, yeah.
Meatballs was
Not
kind of a
appropriate
teen
for
movie.
children.
Kinda. Anyway,
And I think Porky's had the most guys in high school played by people who could have been their parents in high school.
Yeah, for
Didn't
sure.
matter. Funny movie.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, and I think Meatballs was in the '80s also.
And Meatball was, I
Yeah,
think
so-
Meatballs was 80. Yeah, 81 at the latest.
Yeah, I really dug that. That was fun.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Not exactly a teen movie, but now what the hell?
Yeah, it's camp.
Bill Murray was absolutely playing a teen in that, regardless of his age.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Man, children. It was an
Absolutely.
80s thing. Good times. And
Yeah.
I guess I was kind of setting myself up as I go to my number one John Hughes movie. Millennials, Gen Z, quit dissecting this movie. Quit trying to look at it through the prism of where we are right now. 16 Candles is a great, great movie. And just laugh. The Donger.
The dog.
Underneath food.
King of the Dipshits, Farmer Ted / Farmer Fred. It was Hughes' first, it was his directorial debut. Funny from start to finish, endlessly quotable, and just sit back and have fun. Every girl wanted to have the dream guy in Jake.
Ryan.
Everyone wanted a Jake Ryan. And my freshman, that movie came out in between the summer before my freshman year of high school. I was Anthony Michael Hall. I was king of the dipshits, at least until baseball season rolled around. Then I got back into my groove of being athletic and not just nerdy comic book reading, Eric. But 16 Candles, just watch it. It's fun. Does have a little bit of nudity, does drop an F-bomb. This was pre-PG-13. But just a great movie. Can't go wrong. That's my number one John Hughes. With a very, very small, it's not a teen movie, but like Marty, I'm going to go outside the teen realm. John Hughes wrote National Lampoon's Vacation. That's hilarious as well. And that's where we got our first, he was in Six Pack and a couple of other things, but Anthony Michael Hall really broke out and showed us how funny he could be in Vacation as Rusty Griswold.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, it was hilarious that the kids were always different, but it was also a shame that Anthony Michael Hall was gone. It was a funny gag though to have the kids be different every time.
Eventually, Juliette Lewis popping up.
Mm-hmm.
And who was the brother in that one? He went on to Big Bang Theory. Why am I blank on his name? I
don't remember his name.
He was on Roseanne first. Then he's
yes, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name.
Geeky, nerdy geek.
Yeah, him. But Jim, to you for your John Hughes honorable mention.
Okay, so technically this doesn't qualify because it was made after the 80s, but my pick is Drillbit Taylor, which is he was written by Hughes.
Yes.
And I believe is an 80s movie in spirit, even though it came out in like 2008.
Early 2000s, yeah.
And but funny as hell. One of Owen Wilson's better performances, in my opinion. Really funny movie, and really carried that 80s spirit into the 21st century for me.
Yep, Ghost written by Hughes. Yes, I'm so glad you brought this up. I actually was telling Christine about this one, and I think that's another one that the boys need to see. It's a little more modern. They actually know who Owen Wilson is. At least I hope they do. Oh yes, they know him as Lightning McQueen. That's how they know him. So, but yeah, I'm glad Drillbit Taylor. Jim coming up with the deep cuts tonight. I love it.
My honorable mention, John Hughes, is not a teen movie either. It's She's Having a Baby. That's my other favorite, besides for the ones that were mentioned. Such a great movie. Such a great soundtrack also.
Yeah, Babies and
great
Gross.
topic also. Yeah.
John Hughes can't go. And I'm going to throw one more in just for a sec, because we got to add some stuff to the soundtrack. And John Kapelos, who was Oily Bohunk in 16 Candles, the janitor, Breakfast Club, and Dino in Weird Science. Weird Science flies under the radar too much because it came out the same year as Breakfast Club, and just it doesn't get enough love. And Anthony Michael Hall, great in that. Robert Downey Jr., great in that. And yeah, she's in the Malakas, Dino.
We can all agree that the 80s were awesome.
That's
They
right.
were weird, kooky,
Mhm.
crazy, odd, stiff-necked sometimes, but really, really fun. Really, really great and awesome.
And listeners, we barely scratched the surface on this topic tonight.
Oh my
We could have-
gosh, yeah,
yeah.
we could
there's
have,
so
we
many
could have
movies.
honorable mentioned all night, but we'll save that for another show when we talk about our favorite Chicago movies. You might hear a few of these again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
But Christine, Jim, Marty, as always, thank you for having another great show. Marty, great to have you back in the AOTP house.
Thank you, sir.
And sorry, I horked that Fast Times from you, but we were able to share that one nicely, I thought.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, listen for the Spotify playlist on this one as well. The 80s chock full of awesome soundtracks, awesome movies. Thanks for listening all over the place, folks, and we'll hear you and see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
All over the place, where the fun sanity never ends.